Okay, so first of all, I would probably go in first and set up my categories since I already know that I want new categories instead of going into the PO, because you can do it as you go along. You could set it up if you get to it and you're like, oh, I want it to be in actually the rentals category or services category and you didn't have that, you could set it up. Since we already documented out our categories, let's go put those in first. So I would maybe go just food item home. You could get to it other ways, but I would maybe do that. And then I would edit my food item categories because right here I only have types of food items and we want to add some other categories. So we wanted to add, just looking at our document, decorations, furnishings, and services. So decorations, and we'll add the category. It's really nice and easy. And we're right here to add more, which is even better. Furnishings. Furnishings. And we get up here, you're not sure if you're spelling
I know. You're in the hot spot and then you can't spell anymore.
And services. Okay, so going to just add those categories so that we already have them ready. Now I want to start a new PO. So I'll just go right from here, start a new PO. And the vendor we're doing is Big Train, right?
Right.
So it's already in there. It's great because we're just setting this up underneath ourselves. So I'm going to create the PO. And I want to do just a basic live. Yes.
Yep.
That's what I want to do. Set up for our catering services is what we'll call this, just for in the way of notes. And I'm not going to put in the amount. And yes, we do want to track these items because.
Well, you have to say yes, you're in my possession, so it'll let you to go to the next level.
Oh, that's right. Each one I can say. Sorry, that's not even the question it's asking. I was thinking of a step ahead. But yes, we have the items so that we can actually say they're physically in our inventory and they can start being used. So now we get to add all of our items. So let me remember what those are. Okay, so we have the vendor, Big Train. That's ourselves. We're putting under ourselves. We already set up our categories. Now we're going to add all our items. So we want a 6-foot round table. So I'm just going to put a 6 in there because I bet we don't have these. We know we don't have these. So the food item, I'm just going to put.
Just so you know, because it's in the actual item number, that foot sign, like the little single quote,
it won't let you use that.
I bet you it'll squawk at you. You can try it if you want, but I bet you it'll squawk at you just because that's kind of like a key field right there.
Okay, we'll just go like that. That's fine. 6-foot round. How many tables do we have in our 6-foot round tables?
8.
8? Okay. And then we do want to monitor our quantities, right? Because if we already have them serviced somewhere else.
So hang on just a second. If you're starting to get into rentals,
yeah, you don't want to, do you?
Flip it to unlimited because you're going to be renting the same tables again and again and again.
All the time.
Otherwise, what happens is as soon as you do your first invoice and you sell out the 8,
so you don't have them.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't have them.
So this doesn't even count it. That's true.
So that's not going to hurt anything.
And we do want to put it in.
So this would be furnishings.
There we go. 6. So you do a reference number. Are we putting a cost per, or are we saying we just
Let's
already
just
have
keep it
them?
at 0, yeah.
This is just so
for now.
How much does it cost to rent a table?
Per table.
Yeah, there's no cost for that.
Okay, perfect. So
There's
just
no
put
cost.
0.
Okay. So.
But what we will be doing is as we build these invoices, it'll automatically start attributing that. And then if we wanted to see, like later on, how many tables did we rent over the year, because we have that data, we could then pull it and be like, oh my goodness, I rented this table, or I used this table X number of times, if that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah. Okay. So we're good with that. Add the food item. Add the food item. Since we're basically going to be adding a bunch of tables, I can just hit the back and switch this and add some more, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
I'm just going to do that instead of going back around and going to add it because we have 5-foot rounds. How many 5-foot rounds do we have? 12? Because then I already have everything that I had before, and
Hey,
we're
hang on, change your
still going to
description
do
just a
a
little bit.
zero price, right?
That's right.
So
So you can route through those very fast.
Yeah.
so then I
She's
can
just
just
using her back button, kind of like.
I can just add it again. So now you see we have the 12 of the 5-foot rounds, 6 of the 8-foot rounds, and then what other tables do we have? 6-foot buffet table. Okay. And how many of those do we have?
3.
No. That's not doing it for me. Same scenario, everything else I'll leave the same. Add that. 4-foot cake table. Okay.
So it really helps to plan it out, because then all of a sudden, like we just did it on scratch paper basically, but now she's in the system, bam, 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 bam. She can slam it out pretty
Anything
quick.
copy doesn't paste.
Oh, yeah, you could totally copy and paste it.
And how many 4-foot cake tables do we have?
1.
One? Okay. Table. Okay. So I think that got our tables. Now we need some chairs. Okay. So another way that you can do it, I was just looking at all the different ones I have up here, but you could search this way as well. Like if I was searching for chairs, I want to add the new food item, so I have white folding chair. Oops, that's not what I meant. And how many folding chairs do we have?
150.
We would want a lot of those. Okay, so we won't track this. This is in our furnishings as well. And no cost per, are these ones, they also don't cost to rent? Okay,
So just put a 0 right there under that
Oh.
sale price.
thank you. So then, we're good, we have that. What do you need to add?
Okay, one possible thing that I'm seeing that we're doing that we're skipping, and it's not a big deal,
Yeah,
but all of them are currently under taxable. So if
yeah, we don't want, I wondered that.
because they're going to have a zero price,
doesn't matter.
it's not going to be a problem. But like that is one thing that we would probably want to put under like a labor or a miscellaneous or something like that. So
I wondered about that.
so scroll up a little higher. You actually have to go into the physical unit. But click on 6-foot round.
Okay.
Now go one more deeper. Scroll down to the bottom and flip that. That's where you would flip it on the master. Probably miscellaneous, like which is 0. All the other ones basically equate to 0 other than taxable or with tax included.
Okay.
But that's minor. That's minor.
Yeah.
Just use your back button a couple times, go back. But that was just a small comment.
No, that's great. I thought about that as well and should have. Okay. We're adding still, correct?
Correct.
Let's make sure I know where I'm at. Add, edit. No, we don't have. Okay. I think I was trying to edit this.
Okay, it's currently in edit mode.
And then
So there's a little
this-
link right there that says switch to add mode.
Oh.
And this will kind of take you into more of a familiar, okay, now I know where I'm at. Because you were looking for the search field. If you scroll up to the top, you're like, where's the search field at? But you were
Yeah.
currently in edit
In
mode,
edit,
so
right.
it was trying to help you.
Okay. Sign-in table.
So that little error message that she's getting is basically saying, hey, I didn't find anything under sign. It's, okay, cool, I'm going to add it in. But if it did find it, like, say later on if you were trying to do something and it was a real valid inventory item, oh, you mean this? Yes. And then you don't have to add it again.
Would that be under furnishings as well?
Yep. I added table and then the table after was done adding tables, I guess.
It's all
Okay.
good.
So we don't have a sell price on that. We're going miscellaneous right now. Okay. What else do we have to add? Tablecloths. White silk flowers. How many tablecloths do we have? We might not have put a quantity for our last one. That's fine. We can edit
So if you can have however many you want,
Yeah,
then you just put a number, like 100 or something.
that.
Yeah, it's not going to make a bit of difference. Like,
But
some of these things, because they're just kind of like general stock, and we're just going to be renting them out.
Like these,
You're not
say that
really
these
worried
come
about
from a living service.
Yeah.
So you can get as many as you want, but there is a cost involved. So,
Would that go under decorations?
sure, yeah. I don't know.
And those are also, we don't charge for those?
Right.
We do,
Yeah.
we do charge for those.
Yeah. It would be cool though if you knew like, because there is a cost for those, you know, like
Yeah.
if there's a limited service, it would be cool to know like, okay, so you're allowed this many, but if you use 3 more packages, we charge you for those or something, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, you'll be able to get your count, how many you're using, but don't worry about attributing cost right here, because that's technically what we call an expense. Okay? So like, instead of it being
We
cost
didn't
of
buy
goods
them.
sold,
It's an expense.
it's an expense. So it kind of goes in a different spot, but you're still paying for it, and it ends up filtering into your P&L.
Okay, so we're just leaving it as that? We're not doing anything there?
Once you get into the habit of it, you can really rock through these things pretty fast.
So
we're basically just setting some stuff up.
She's got tons of time.
Yeah, we're getting a lot in there already, so we've got white sunflowers is the one thing we never have. And how many of those do we have?
3.
Okay, capitalize everything else.
If you're a master copying and paster, or even just using your back button, like, you can really
So
get through some
those
stuff.
you would maybe
Yeah.
charge for, you'd say like maybe those are $10.
Those are $10 a piece? Okay, perfect.
Piece of cake.
And we're using sell price only. Okay, so we're going to add that item. Okay, so right now, oh, we have more. Perfect. Hurricane lamps.
And she might have to define that, like I just was typing it, but like,
Said we can go back and I can just be right in there. I don't have to search it every time. That's not even necessary. So we could just come right in here. How many hurricane lamps do we have?
Let's see.
12. And those would be decorations still, right? I don't even know what they are, but they sound exciting. Do those cost money?
Yeah.
How much do those
Let's
cost?
say $5.
$5. Okay, so
still miscellaneous.
Yeah.
still miscellaneous, because they're still a rental type thing, right? Okay, and we'll add, what else do we have left there? Dishwashing
So some services. Okay.
services, okay. So we'll need to change that. Guess I should start at the top.
You just put 0 right here. It's basically going to be unlimited. So.
Yeah. Is there a cost associated with dishwashing?
So
sold for
how
like
would you do it?
Hourly?
Per hour,
I could put
Yeah.
this, yeah,
So
dishwashing for
$50.
per hour.
Great. We'll change the unit of measurement on this one as well.
Oh, 15.
Not 50, 15.
2 hours. 15. Oh,
For sale price, yeah.
That's expensive dishwashing. Okay.
Maybe that's fine.
And probably labor on this one.
Okay. So, dishwashing per hour, 15 an hour. So we'll add that one. And we've got table services. Still in services, table, what is that called? Busing?
Table services is
Table
fine.
services.
We'll make it. We'll keep it
Table
politically correct.
services.
Buzzing doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
That doesn't quite work for a wedding, does it?
How much is that per hour?
Same.
Say 15.
Okay. And cleaning. Okay. Still per hour?
Sure.
15?
The same price.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now we have a whole bunch of items in different categories, which our categories aren't right here, but they are in different categories. So if you look them up in some other ways, we could see them by category. So now we at least have all of these items in our possession. We don't owe any money on this PO. And we can start using these items right now. Did you want me to do anything else?
Yeah, great. Why don't you pretend like you're doing, like, it's great. It's great training, and I think it's great, okay? And, like, we're not going to blow anything up, so.
It's true. It's true.
So let's go
So
back.
we could,
Just for a second, you have PO number 9, okay? Scroll down for a little bit. You have the main. Can you show them where the main is?
yeah, this is the main, your main information. So who the vendor it's tied to. The location doesn't matter so much because we just have one location. And the PO number and all of that information. These are the line items, which are all of the things that we put onto this PO. So we just did a setup PO. Basically, we created placeholders so that we can go use these items anytime that we need. They're in our inventory pool now. So if I search for a 6-foot round, I have it in my inventory, and I can track that now on every invoice for every customer that comes through, for all of those. And that's mainly what we have. This is to add more, but those are the two main points of our PO that I think we would be most interested in right now.
Perfect. Let's have you go back to the Word document and see what our next plan is. So we've loaded some items. So basically, this is prior to meeting with your client. You don't want to load this all in while you're doing it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let's pretend that we're actually walking through the scenario, and Shannon's still going to keep running it, but I'd like you to kind of interact with Shannon and kind of be like, okay, the client's name is Juanita Chiquita Banana, you know, whatever.
In other words, you set up the role play, right, the scenario, and we'll
Yeah, so
put it in the
basically what we're
system.
going to do is we're going to kind of show you how we're going to walk through this. All we did so far was immediately we did some consulting. We kind of knew what we were going. Just like, oh my goodness, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go add my categories because I know I'm going to need that. Boom, pop in the parts homepage, decorations, furnishing, services. Okay, next, I know I'm going to have a PO to get all these items into my system. We already checked, they're not there. PO, search for the big train vendor. Add the PO. Sweet. Now, start adding your items. Okay, boom, we're at that point. So now, we're ready to literally get you rolling and kind of get you playing already. So, Tanya, you need to come up with a customer name. Like, we are now, pretend like Shannon is the catering service, and you're coming to her either as yourself or as representing party ABC.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we need to start a person, right?
Correct.
And we could either do that through, we could just set up the invoice, and we could say that it's a customer invoice, or we could go to the customers and put in a customer, but this will
Either
ask
way,
me to put
you're
one
able
in,
to
so.
bounce to either side. Perfect. Good call, Shannon.
So this customer's name is Stephanie.
We don't have her in there. Stephanie, what is Stephanie's last name?
Smith.
Perfect.
259. Oh, that's it. There it is.
Yep.
On the streets.
On
On a street. I
Perfect.
like it.
And it better be in Utah, since we're in Utah today. 8.
Yeah, sorry. I can let you give me any of that information.
No, I like that
I was just putting in bogus stuff anyway, so.
And this, like the 555 number or whatever.
Perfect. Is there any other information you would like for Stephanie?
So if I was really live doing it, I'd for sure get an email address.
Great. That's great.
Just so you know, if you do get an email address, it is live inside the system. So if you pull a report, you can technically just click on that, and it
Nice.
tries to advance it right to. It doesn't work on everything. So like if you're using, but it does try to find your default email client and it tries to push that forward. And on some of the people who are using the smartphones and stuff, like if you have your phone numbers in there and stuff, they'll actually click on it and it'll go direct to text.
Oh, that's neat. Okay.
So this particular thing tax was built in. I don't know why.
Okay, so this is
would make it not taxable. Or
so this is the person, and that's actually a setting we can set. Like this particular restaurant, a lot of the stuff they're selling would be taxable. Okay, so basically this person, you would just flip them to whatever you want. Like, hey, I'm not really worried about this.
Miscellaneous?
They're basically, they're just renting.
Okay.
But there are some settings that you can change that, but we're kind of in the middle of a play site, and I think there's some other items that are taxable, so we'll kind of just leave it right now. You can individually flip it.
Are there any notes you wanted to put about Stephanie? You don't have to. That's fine.
But that's true. There could be, right? There could be.
Oh yeah, unlimited, and you can even keep adding and adding and adding. Like, say you had multiple interactions with Stephanie, you could add them.
She's really nervous about this.
Yeah, you just record that.
Yeah.
So we'll add Stephanie. She's our customer. Since we were already in the invoice, in cart mode, so we were already starting something to say what items she wanted to rent, it already took us back to the cart mode. So she's already linked to our invoice right now, which is nice. We don't have to go start a new invoice. So now we can start adding items. What did Stephanie want for her purchase?
Okay. She wanted 8 6-foot round tables.
I'm just going to search for 6 because she wanted 8 of those.
She wanted 8 of those. So could you do all this at once?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she wants 2 6-foot tables.
So I'll just add those right there. I could pull up, if I actually, maybe what would have been better, probably go like this. I could have gone to furnishings
And then
all of them, and then we could put in whatever furnishings she wanted
All
right
at
here
once.
from one page. So she wanted 8 6-foot round, and she wanted how many?
2.
2 buffets.
And 1 cake table and 1 siding table
Dining table.
and 75.
75 chairs. Okay, so that is all in her cart now. So that was great. Did she want anything else?
she wanted any lava lamps or whatever they were.
Or any
Oh, yeah.
dishwashing or waiting services or...
So decorations, you could put it right.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted 8 lava lamps. Hurricane lamps.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not sure. What's the difference between a lava lamp and a hurricane lamp?
Okay, excellent. So we'll add those in. Did she want any services?
Yeah. She wanted 2 hours of dishwashing.
Perfect. Okay. So her invoice is now created. $90 is what we're charging her for the dishwashing and the hurricane mess. So the flowers were the only thing that had any item, and there's no tax either applied. So then we could look this over, we could check out, it still gives us, oh, this one actually is a quick retail, so this just takes us right to the money type. So we wanted to look that over more. Did we want anything changed
So it
on that?
doesn't
or does
bring
that
up
look
the
good?
rental of the facility, that doesn't. Like that's not part of the price, right?
No, not right. But if that needed to be, we would actually need to add an item for rental of facility.
And if we do it the same way as we do these other items, right?
Matter of fact,
We
you
could
can
do
even
it
leave.
right now.
Why don't you leave your cart open, okay?
Okay.
And just leave that open and just go back to the PO homepage.
And then do you want me to go to
No,
a tab?
don't change those tabs just because I have them set on something. So I was
Go
even
to
just
a
saying here,
new
just go
tab.
home.
Oh,
Wait a
okay.
minute. Just the cart's fine.
Yeah,
it's
I'll
not
just
gonna
sit
it's not gonna hurt anything. Okay. Just go home and then go PO homepage. And then go ahead and say edit on number 9 right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I see what you're saying. Okay.
And then we need to add in the building rental type thing. What do you want to call it?
Facility or,
Okay.
Yeah, what did you want to call it? It's just making
That's
sense.
right.
We can call it whatever you want to call it.
And we could say wedding chapel or something like that. You know, there's probably,
Would that be better to put up here?
yeah,
Wedding chapel?
like therapy indoor, you know. if
Sure,
you
sure.
have, there would be all kinds of.
So basically, if you want them to show up on your invoice as a specific item, you would just have to make sure they exist in your system. Okay. And whatever it is that you.
Anything that they can choose to needs to be there.
Mhm. Would we want to put this into one of our categories, or
I would
do
say
we
this
want
would
to
need
make
its own
a new
category.
category? So what category do we want?
Venues,
Venues. So then I'm just going to go back one more and refresh my page. Oh, retry it again.
Perfect. You'll just have to type it back in, but it will be loaded into the. So that
oh, nice, that's nice.
the little one that she's doing right there where it says the type, which is like the second field down, that's the piece that says, am I physically tracking you, 1 + 1 + 1, or this plus this, or am I flipping it to a service / unlimited type deal, okay? That's the main switch between the difference. So your candy bars, you want to monitor them. Your chairs, you don't necessarily want to monitor like the physical quantities.
And how much does it cost to rent the facility?
$9.50.
And that probably stays as an each, because they just rent it
Yeah,
once.
something like that. Yeah.
Non-taxable. So we'll add that. Now it's on our PO where we put everything in before, wedding chapel. But now I can go back to my cart. I can just click this little icon or go other ways. And now I can add it. So I'll go to menus and add that. There's other ways to do that too. But now we have the venue and everything that she's using, so we know what to give people to set up for, or I guess whatever the situation we would want. Is there anything else we want?
So this is just in the invoice right here, and this is where we started. But I know that in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, what about the date? How's it really going to know what's going on there?
Right,
We haven't jumped out there yet. And depending on which way you attack it, Shannon would straight to the cart, grab customer information. What are you looking at? Okay, which date are you looking at? Often you might be like, okay, which date are you looking at? Do I have anything else there? You may want to start there, but that's not a problem. But
Yeah.
it just kind of depends on what's going on. Like the invoice date does not have to match the event date, okay? They're technically two different things. They could be completely separate, no problem. So we'll book the venue in just a minute, or unless you wanted to hop out. Like basically, your cart's built at this point, okay? And it's just gonna sit there and stay. You can either say save as a quote, which says, oh, commit it, and then it's there forever. I can restore it, or I can just let it happily sit in the background as virtual memory, and I can go over and check my schedule or whatever. Like it depends on which area you're entering first, and as you were doing it, you would kind of figure out your own flow. So,
What would you like to do?
So, say that we want to schedule an event, can we do that? You know?
Should I go to the time homepage?
Yeah, let's go to elements of time, and I have no clue what they have set up in here, okay?
Me neither.
So-
It wasn't on the quick search, but we
Go
will
ahead and go-
see
yeah.
if it's here.
Go to system time. Okay, they just have check requests. So we need to add some permissions here, and I'll help you out. Go to Adilas demo, and go to system search, and scroll down, get to time right there. Now scroll down to system time and requests, and the green one, and we're going to do the red one too so we can kind of modify some stuff at the bottom of the page. You're good.
Okay.
So basically we didn't have those options prior, but now she does have. Good thing. So she's ready to add a new one, but ideally, why don't you go
We
to
should-
Elements of Time homepage.
Probably set it up too.
Correct. Like they basically have just a default thing. You can create all sorts of different templates. And what do you want to call it? What settings does it need? Et cetera, all that kind of stuff. But like, here's your calendar, so you could technically scroll down and be like, well, it looks pretty open. When would you like that?